What's happening, guys? Yeah, hope you're all doing well. So, yeah, let's talk about a few things, man. So, what's been going on right now with this? I mean, you know what? This viral outbreak, as they're calling it, with us all basically being treated like caged animals by the government. Everybody's walking on eggshells, everybody's wearing gloves, everybody's starting to wear those silly little Home Depot dust masks that you get in department stores, and that the Chinese have been walking around wearing for years. Now everybody else is wearing them, and yeah, everybody's freaking out, everybody's panicking, everybody's paranoid, everybody's losing the plot, losing their minds because, like they say about humans, when you put them in a cage, when you take them out of their, when you take people out of their environment, you take away their freedom, they start to go crazy, they start to act a little bit weird. Now, as you guys know, listen, I've been ignoring this issue for the most part. I've been living my life as I usually would, not really changing up anything. I mean, in regards to things like social distancing, I mean, that's something that I pretty much do anyway. I'm very careful all the time. I'm always vigilant. Okay, I'm not overly cautious. I don't live my life in fear or anything like that. It's just that I have common sense. Common sense in regards to things like cleanliness. I shower every day pretty much. Keep my hands clean. I'm not too fond of like shaking people's hands who I don't know. I mean, I will do it, but if I don't, if I do it, I will make sure that my hands are clean and whatnot. When I'm sharing a lift with somebody, I mean, I went to take a lift today, an elevator, and somebody had vomited all over the floor, and I was like, nope, not getting in that. Again, just little everyday things, just simple common sense. You don't put yourself in compromising positions. You live your life. You be sober, you be vigilant, as they say. But what's happening with this coronavirus is it's gone way beyond that. It's gone way beyond vigilance. It's gone beyond common sense, and it's become irrational paranoia. And my eyes were really open to this yesterday, like, because I went against obviously the judgment and opinions of the mainstream media and the government, who are telling us all to stay indoors and, again, treating us like caged animals. I decided to go out. I decided to go up and visit my gran. And I've been going out every day, by the way. I've been going to the park. I've been chilling out. I've been going wherever I feel like. Okay, I'm not letting this virus change the way I live my life and the way I move and whatnot. But basically, I went up to visit my gran, who lives not too far away from me. It's like 10 minutes on the train. It's not too far. So I went up to visit her, and on the way, I decided to jump into a supermarket because I was like, I feel like getting some juice or something. So I jumped into a supermarket, and as I approached the supermarket, I see a huge gathering. I see a huge gathering, like 10 or 15 people, maybe even more. In fact, there might have been 20 people, something like that, all grouped together, standing outside the door of the supermarket. And I'm thinking, hang on a second, that's a little bit weird. It's just a local supermarket, not even a big brand. And I'm thinking, aren't people supposed to be standing several feet apart? Aren't people meant to be, cautious and not standing together? So I found that a little bit strange. But they didn't appear to be, um, reacting with the supermarket in any way. And again, maybe I was just not really thinking straight, because I decided to just walk right past them and walk straight into the supermarket. And guys, I shit you not, I am not making this up. I'm being 100% honest here. The second I stepped foot in that supermarket, it was like, like the people behind the counter screamed at me. They flipped out. They screamed. They ran. One of them ran towards me, and everybody just was in total shock. So me, I just sort of froze up, and I'm thinking, has there been a shooting? Has there been a terrorist attack? What's going on here? A couple of seconds later, the lady who comes up to me says, "It's only two people in the shop at a time." And I'm like, wait, what? And I turn around, I look at the people all gathering outside, shaking, like I said, as if there's been some sort of terrorist attack or some sort of shooting. And I realise, hang on, all these people are waiting for their turn to get into the shop. And the two people that are in the shop are standing, taking ages, just browsing the shelves. Um, leaving everybody outside to wait, and I'm like, wait just a minute. They freaked out. They screamed, and it was as if they were going to have a heart attack. They were panicking. They were screaming in fear, and just were on edge completely over the fact that there was more than two people in the shop at once, because I stepped 1 foot into the shop. Guys, so they were expecting me to go and wait in a crowd of people when we're supposed to be social distancing, right? We're not supposed to be standing within a close proximity of each other, are we, right? But all these people are standing in a big gathering waiting to go into this shop because they don't want too many people in close proximity with each other. I mean, man. So yeah, they're expecting me to go outside and wait in this gathering, go right to the back and wait for every single one of these 15 to 20 people to go in the shop and spend ages browsing and to do whatever they're going to do. Two at a time. I'm supposed to wait there. I'm supposed to wait all day for my turn to jump into a shop and go and buy a bottle of juice, which would have taken me 25 seconds at most. Guys, that is that goes beyond vigilance. That goes beyond common sense. That goes beyond preparation. That goes beyond being sensible. That is damn right paranoia. That is straight up being paranoid. I'm not even kidding. How have we gotten to a point in this country where people are so damn scared and so paranoid to the point where a third person stepping into the shop causes an outrage, causes I mean, people to scream. I'm not even kidding. This fear mongering, this scaremongering, this irrational scaremongering from the mainstream media has done its job. It's caused irrational fear. Irrational fear mongering causes irrational fear. Who would have thought? And it's just a shame to me how the people of this country, this once great country, no longer have any common sense. They no longer have the ability to think for themselves. They no longer have the ability to be stoic. They no longer have the ability to have faith. People are such cowards. And I tell you right now, I've been talking on here for quite a while about how the government and how the mainstream media want to take away our rights. They want to take away our right to free speech, our right to personal sovereignty, and all this other stuff. And how the leftist government and the leftist mainstream media will do anything they can to sort of domesticate us and do anything they can to force us into a subservient authoritarian state, a surveillance state, a police state, and an authoritarian echo chamber where everyone has to have the same opinion and everyone's on a curfew and everyone has to do the same things and have the same political ideology and same political views, stuff like that. We're getting so close to that, it's scary because people will literally do or say whatever the government tells them to say. It's fucking outrageous, people. It's terrifying. It sends shivers down my spine. And look, I'm not scared for myself. Listen, I'm a stoic individual, okay? Irrational fear is not something that I experience anymore. But what does frighten me in a sense, I'm not frightened in the sense that it's keeping me up at night and all that. No, I'm concerned for future generations because future generations are going to have to live under this regime. What was it Boris Johnson called what was it he called this the way that we're all going to have to live from now on? He called it the new normal. That might be the title of this video, the new normal. um Stay in your cage, stand however many feet apart it is. Don't interact with people. Don't gather together and conspire against the government who's going to round us all up and treat us all like human cattle. It's like a vampire cult or some shit, isn't it? We're all seen as just a number. We're seen as cattle. They might as well brand us with a barcode. I mean, they're talking about virtual money. What's that? What's the quote from the Bible? I don't have it in front of me right now, but isn't it? Um, no man shall buy or sell lest he receive the mark of the beast. And again, look, conspiracy theorists for a long time have been saying how, Bible prophecy has been coming true. And, the idea of virtual money and, stamping a chip and pin into our wrist is reminiscent of how it's described in the Holy Bible. You know about not having a way to buy or sell or invest or just contribute to the economy or get paid or pay your bills and whatnot. You won't be able to do it unless you embrace this new system. Well, I mean, those people are starting to sound like geniuses now, aren't they? All the stuff that's been going on with at least in my personal experience, in my area when I go out and I walk around, like I said, with the way people were behaving in the supermarkets and the shops and whatnot, even the authorities. Me and my missus the other day were at the park. We just went to the park to feed the ducks and whatnot because it's something that we do at least a few times each week. We take a walk to the park and whatnot, and there were literally police vans driving around patrolling the park and driving up to people. And if there was a gathering of more than three people, let's say a group of friends were taking their dog for a walk, and they were standing near each other, the coppers would pull up next to them and would roll the window down and tell them to break up and tell them to go home. I mean, I'm hearing stories from people I know of, people are getting sent home when they're in town, and people. I heard one story of there was like 3 or 4 people in a car driving home, and somebody was giving his friends a lift home, and the coppers pulled them over and told them all to get out. They sent the driver home and told the rest of them they had to walk. I mean, guys, how do I put this into words? This is right authoritarian fascist shit. That's what this is. Right, the way the police and the authorities have been going on right now, in the midst of this virus and this outbreak, whatever you want to call it, it's like something out of a movie. It's like something out of a dystopian thriller. Like I don't know. Do you know what it's like? It's like something out of it's like Fallout or something. It's like one of these. Again, it's dystopian, isn't it? It's like one of these futuristic sci-fis that you see where everybody's constantly under surveillance and everybody's constantly, uh, being forced, through propaganda and technology and whatnot. They're forced to live under this regime, and anyone that tries to stand up to this regime is put down or thrown in prison. That's the kind of shit that we're seeing, and it's getting that far. And maybe I'm hyping it up a bit. I don't think so. I don't think I am, because when you take away freedom, you can take away anything. It's like in America, they have the First Amendment, freedom of speech. What is it that the leftists and the leftist government in particular have been trying to destroy for years? They've been trying to take away that constitution, that amendment. They want to take away the right to free speech, and they want to take away the right to bear arms. They already did that here. They already took away our right to bear arms many years ago, back in the 90s. I mean, even as far back as the 80s, really, but I believe it was in the 90s that it was officially done, and everybody was, that had their arms taken off them, and not only that, but at least where I live, they do stop and searches all the time. I've been stopped and searched many times, and as you guys know, I've told you in the past that I used to carry a knife, because I used to collect like combat knives and stuff like that, and yeah, I used to carry a knife on. I used to carry a lockback and that because I lived in a very, very dangerous area. Okay, I've been attacked with knives on more than one occasion, and I sort of was in a state of mind where I'd rather have one and not need one than need one and not have one. But the police have gotten so strict, like they did all these stops and searches in my area, and basically if I walk to the shop wearing a tracksuit, I would get dirty looks off the coppers as if they think I'm up to something and stuff like that. So we for a long time, the point I'm trying to make, and I know I'm rambling here, but the point I'm trying to make is, for a long time we've had our privacy and our freedoms trespassed on by the government and by the police. Like I said, you're not even allowed to carry a weapon for your own safety, even if you live in a dangerous area. And again, I've lived in many dangerous areas. Okay, I've been in some pretty sticky situations, which are life and death, really, and I've not been allowed legally to carry a weapon to defend myself or my family. I've had to do it the old-fashioned way, basically. So that's my point I'm trying to make. In America, you have a constitution that allows you to defend your own home. Like if a burglar breaks into your house and you have protection, you have a firearm, you can protect yourself. Whereas here, if a burglar breaks into a pensioner's house and that pensioner stabs him with a screwdriver, that pensioner will go to prison, or he'll at very least he'll be investigated and arrested. By the way, that's I'm using an actual example there. That happened not too far away from where I live. A guy, an elderly gentleman, had his house broken into by some junkie, and yeah, he stabbed the guy with a screw. Well, no, that was it. The guy had a screwdriver. The guy that broke into his house, and yeah, the elderly guy picked up a knife and defended himself. And again, I digress. The guy got arrested, and there was a big protest over it and whatnot. But yeah, they were going to send the guy to prison for murder because he was defending himself on his own property. If that's not our rights to freedom being taken away from us, I don't know what is. If we can't defend ourselves in our own property, if we can't feel safe walking the streets, this is not a free society. Okay, if we can't speak our minds without police showing up at our door, I mean, people are getting arrested for posting quote unquote offensive tweets. I mean, look at what happened with Billy Joe Saunders. I just did 2 videos about that. He made a joke on one of these websites, and he lost his license over it. Again, and there was the woman, again, I talked about this on my channel not that long ago either. The woman who claimed there was 2 genders, a 100% fact, a 100% objective, indisputable fact, a statement of fact, and she lost her job over it. Okay, so we live in a country where if you post a fact on the internet, you can lose your job. That's a 100% complete lack of freedom. Freedom of speech is being taken away from us. Freedom of expression, unless of course it's the right speech and right expression. Yeah, freedom of to defend ourselves, to bear arms, to defend ourselves in our own property. Freedom to have whatever political views or religious views we want. That's no longer a thing anymore. If you're a Christian and if you preach the Bible, you're in big trouble. You lose your job over it for just stating scripture in this country. And over this virus, we've seen it on YouTube. Anyone that talks about it, what's the first thing you see if you live in the UK, right? And you click on a video about the coronavirus from an independent uploader such as myself, and I'm not being paid for this, okay? I'm not being sponsored by anybody, so I'm just doing this on my laptop independently. What is the first thing you see pop up? You'll see a pop-up below the video from the NHS with an official link to their particular interpretation of what's going on with this virus. That's police state shit, okay? That is 100% political censorship, okay? They are the mainstream media and the tech companies, or I should say, like in association with the tech companies, are colluding together in order to steer you towards the mainstream narrative, so you're only getting one perception. They're labeling people like me as a conspiracy theorist with no credentials, whereas people like reporters in the mainstream media, government, NHS, World Health Organization, these people are totally infallible according to these tech companies and according to the people who are manipulating this algorithm. They're the people that you should listen to, not us. Basically, we don't matter. We're just idiots on the computer who you shouldn't listen to. Again, it is total authoritarian control. They're treating us all like caged animals. They're taking away our rights on a daily basis. And this virus, well played to them. They've totally destroyed Western society with this overblown, over-exaggerated virus that has caused irrational fear and panic amongst my own community and pretty much every community from what I see. I mean, I'm watching videos from people in America, videos from people in Ecuador, videos from people in Eastern Europe, videos from people even in places like Australia, the other side of the bloody world. People are panicking. People are panicking all over the place over a virus that may or may not even be real. And if it is real, it's certainly not as dangerous as we've been led to believe. I mean, the figures have been going down. It's only really a threat to you if you are of a certain persuasion. Like if you're somebody who has vulnerabilities or health problems. Like if you're a healthy young individual like myself, it's not going to cause you any problems. Okay, I've had the flu many times. I've recovered. I've been totally fine. So, There's no evidence out there, from what I can see, that this and no clear scientific studies that have been done that show that this so-called virus is any worse or better than viruses we've already seen in the past. I mean, like I said, I've seen no evidence of that, and it's just really sad, man. I've not been able to get much content out over this, and obviously, what I do here when I talk boxing, there's a lot of other people, content creators, who only talk boxing. I talk about other things gladly, but a lot of people only talk about boxing, and there's really been nothing for them to talk about because of this, because it's just nothing but fear mongering in the media and the scaremongering and the fear mongering. It just doesn't help anybody. It's ruined the economy because all the businesses have shut down. I was walking down a high street the other day. Again, I've been going out a lot during this so-called outbreak, and I haven't seen anybody keeling over and dying with an illness. But what I have seen is I've seen plenty of closed shops with signs on the door saying, yeah, with the coronavirus, due to the government's the government's instructions, the government's recommendations, we've closed down, and many of these places won't be opening. All right, but some of my favorite restaurants and some of my favorite local shops have closed down for good, and it's a real shame because the the economy is not going to recover for this for a long time. I know a lot of people who've lost their jobs. For example, one of my cousins lost her job. A friend of mine has been laid off. Uh, Perhaps indefinitely. That there are people that I know who have been forced to take extended leaves. People who I used to work with. I mean, who lost their job, who I spoke to. Even my mother, told me that she has to work from home. There's a lot of other people like within my family and my social circle who I've asked about this, and yeah, they've told me that it's affected them seriously. Like they've lost their jobs and stuff like that, and it's just a real shame. It's a real shame, man. And I just don't know what else to say. But I just wish. I think it's been overblown, and I wish that people would be more stoic in regards to these types of situations. I wish that people would stand together as brothers, stand together against this authoritarian control. I mean, you had Nicola Sturgeon, that dumb bitch who I can't stand, the First Minister of Scotland, threatening to fine and press charges against any business in Scotland who refused to close. Like say if a pub or a local restaurant or whatever refused to close down and decided to stay open for business, even though, bear in mind, these people are paying rent. These people have to make a living. She's threatening to sue them and have them thrown in jail if they refuse to close down. So yeah, this is right. Police state shit. That's what this really is, man. This is unlike anything I think I've ever seen before. It's shocking. It really is terrifying. It's scary stuff, man. And I don't really know what else to say. There was a couple of other things I wanted to bring up, but I don't really think I'll can't really come to mind right now. So yeah, this video's gone on way long enough. It's gone on over 23 minutes. I don't usually make videos this long. I know some of you guys like it, but I like to keep my videos shorter and more to the point. Usually, this is not usually my thing. So if you've been here all this time, if you've listened to the whole 23 or so minutes of this video, then thank you for sticking with me this long and listening to what I have to say. I really appreciate it. God bless each and every one of you, and please, every single one of you out there who's listening to this, if you just happen to stumble across this, or if you've been a long time subscriber of me, whatever, please stay vigilant, because this is only going to get worse. And I urge all of you to pray. I urge all of you to find God in your heart, and just be humble, be vigilant, and don't allow yourself to fall prey to fear and propaganda. Okay, because we can do better than that. Okay, we can. We as, especially, any young men listening to this, right? Be strong, be a leader. Stand up to this. Don't be scared. Don't be fearful. Don't contribute to this culture of oppression and fear and censorship. Be strong, be a man. Okay, be a warrior, and praise be to God. Thanks for watching. Stay vigilant, and yeah, God bless. And if you feel compelled to subscribe, that's totally up to you. If not, I guess I'll bid you farewell. Let me know what you guys think anyway. Thanks for watching, and yeah, God bless.